So that was 2021. To wrap up another exciting year at Ex Why Zed, we're going to guide you through a selection of our favourite projects from the last 12 months. We've got children's books, photo zines, self-published projects and notebooks on all manner of papers, shapes and sizes. Hey, your project might even be in here. If it isn't, it's probably just sold out and we haven't got any copies left to fill. Enjoy looking at the creative solutions that our incredible clients came up with, marvel at what can be achieved in print, and then start planning your project, which might feature in our guide of 2022. So without further ado, let's get started. Eddie the Elf from Daniel Verbeetem is a stunning A4 children's book. On the front cover you can see when you just tip it towards the light there's gloss spot UV varnish on the two characters. It's perfect bound with 34 inside pages. The front cover is onto 300 gram silk, so you can see that this double page spread is slightly brighter and punchier on the left hand side than it is on the awesome uncoated inside pages. Danielle's gone for 140 GSM, which is thicker than normal on the insides and makes it feel more premium, slightly more illustrious as the reader flicks through. The thing that marks out Danielle's book is the quality of the illustrations. They really are superb and we hope she goes on to great success. Next up is Deep in the Whispering Woods, an A5 book by Holly Staniford and published by the super fun Sojo and Mouse publishing team. We've got the front cover on 300 gram silk and the inside pages on 120 gram uncoated. Both are FSC certified papers to tick the green box. It's an awesome collection. As the author themselves says, this is a book to take with you on adventures. Stick it in your bag or tie a string around it and sling it over your shoulder. Press flowers and leaves between the pages and doodle in the corners. If a page gets torn or it falls in the dirt, it just means the journal has a story to tell. We've got 160 inside pages here. There's a chunky spine on this book and there's also, shh, don't tell anyone, a secret hidden message on the inside spine where we've glued the text. So if you were to take all the pages out, there's a little message in there for the reader. Next up is Hunter's Icy Adventure, the latest title from Wild Tribe Heroes. The Cornwall-based publishing company's books are a collection of gentle and engaging true stories about animals that find themselves in trouble when their lives are affected by plastic in the oceans, palm oil deforestation, or climate change. We've got the front cover on Ensacote one-sided, so the outside of it is gloss with a gloss lamination to make it super shiny, and the inside is uncoated. This is quite a go-to card for children's books, and you'll see it on a lot of the ones that you find on the shelves. The inside pages are 170 silk, so the images are nice and crisp. We've got glorious images on the right-hand side, and then we have the text on the left-hand side. This print spec is a winning strategy that the publisher uses for all of their books, and it's a bespoke size of 210 high by 272 millimeters wide. You can see when we tip it to the side that it's staple bound or wire stitched, which is great for children's books because it means the pages can open completely flat. The prolific Kunda Kids return with another set of awesome titles in their range to help young learners read and learn about culture. Each book is 210 by 210 and perfect bound. There are 32 inside pages, so that just gives us a 3mm spine, just about big enough to put some text along there. So if they were displayed on a shelf, it's easy to grab your favourite copy. Nice, bright, colourful images mean that they're eye-catching for the reader. And because each title in the series is the same size, they form a really nice set, which they do sell in one package. On the back cover, you can see the familiar reading level guide with stars here on level 1 and 2, showing that these books are appropriate for that age range. And when we stack them together, flip them round, you can see there's colour coding on the spine, which is a nice touch. We print tons of photography books through the course of a year, and these are 3 of our favourites. We've got Colorado from Alex Matragos, which is an awesome A5, chunky, perfect bound photography zine or journal. The thing that we love about this is the quality of the images and the layout. Alex cleverly uses generous amounts of white space and large white borders around his images to cleverly focus everybody's attention on his photography. It feels like a prestigious book because they've gone for 170 for the inside, but then the cover's 250 gram, which is slightly thinner than normal, but it also means that it opens up easier for the reader. We've got 94 inside pages. The images seem to be ramped up a little bit in Photoshop, so they're just that little bit more dynamic and they jump off the page even though they are on uncoated. Next time you go away somewhere cool, why not take your digital camera with you and capture the experience and the scenery? You can then put it together into a photography journal or a zine like this one, which features images from, as the title suggests, Colorado. Next up is the 2021 compendium from Then There Was Us, a photography group that's been going for a number of years now and aims to promote up-and-coming and established photographers, giving their work a portal to get seen. The thing that marks this book out is the use of Nina Environment Concrete for the front cover. This is a paper from G.F. Smith, and as you can see, it's rugged and tactile, it's grainy, and it really differentiates itself from the 140 gram 100% recycled paper that we've used on the inside pages. Again, nice use of white space around. Each page has a photographer's name underneath the image, making it easy for the reader to identify where to find them. It's a nice fluid layout with the size of the photographs dictating their position and spacing on the page rather than being styled to a specific grid. We're liking the typography on this photography book as well, with the clean sans serif font used on the front cover and all of the featured photographers' names listed down the right-hand side. Next up, another photography compendium is the Pupil Sphere, which is a graduate showcase of the best photography talent around at the moment coming from university. So this is a 2021 publication, obviously. And this one uses a slightly different tack where we've got the list of the photographers' names at the back, and then as you flick through, we just have the images themselves as the winner on each page, given loads of space, nice dynamic layout. Good varied mixture of photography. And then at the back of the book here we see a reference point and credits, so you can easily work out which photographer took which photo, and then you can go on social media and find them and follow more of their work. Print spec on this book is A4. We've got 70 inside pages. They've gone for 200 gram uncoated for the cover with matte lamination to make the cover nice and flexible so it opens easily, and we've got 100 GSM uncoated for the inside pages, slightly thinner than normal, but it does mean that it's easy for the reader to flick through. Perfect bound with 70 inside pages. London in Silence is a seriously imposing 340 by 280 millimetre perfect bound book. Look at how it compares here with Colorado, which is A5. London in Silence is massive. The number of inside pages makes it easily thick enough to get the title of the book and the author's name down the spine, and the use of white typography on a black background is striking and should be easy to spot on a bookshelf. The front cover is on 300 GSM silk with a matte lamination to the outside, and the 160 inside pages are onto 200 GSM silk. Full colour throughout, punctuated with chapter titles on various shades of blue as the reader goes through the book. Printed on silk art papers and reminding us all of just how crazy the first lockdown was in 2020, when there really were no people at all on the streets of the capital. It's a haunting and fascinating reminder and a stunning coffee table conversation piece. All the photography is from the super talented teenager Hugo Berman. This finish size does have to be printed onto one of our larger presses, so best to keep this spec if you're going for kind of 100 copies or more. It is going to be budget testing if you're just going for a handful of copies. High impact, high quality photography fills the double page spreads as you flick through the book. Many filling the 340 by 560 spread size, others limited to the right hand side with a caption on the left. It is bound with PUR glue, which is the most robust type of binding glue. And because of the sheer size of the pages, they do have a natural tendency to fall flat anyway. Hugo's gone for one of his great images of Tower Bridge for the front cover underneath a crystal blue sky. Next up on our rundown of our favourite publications of 21 are these illustrious photography hardback books. We start with Adam Carnat's debut book, Illumination, part photography journal and part autobiography. The hardback book showcases the highest production values with cover materials from Winter & Co., white foiling and section sewing on the inside pages. Adam guides us through his journey from a Met police officer to an accomplished photographer and very prominent YouTuber. Do enjoy looking at his channel, and why not subscribe? The inside pages are onto 170 GSM silk at a bespoke size of 223mm high by 297 wide, so A4 width and a little bit extra on the height. The extra wide double page spread gave Adam the luxury of displaying his artwork and photography on a much larger scale. The size gives the reader the benefit of seeing enhanced details of the photography and really gives an extra experience of what it would have been like to have actually been there in the stunning locations that Adam shot. This page size creates wide double page spreads that are great for landscape photography or a combination of an image on one side and accompanying text either below or adjacent to it. The end papers are GF Smith colour plan, and we worked tirelessly with Adam before the job went to print to ensure it arrived exactly as expected. And the finished publication is testament to the effort put in on both sides. Viewed from the side, you can see the process of joining the end papers, the inside pages and the hardback cover together. Awesome photography all the way through Adam's book here, and an understated front cover with just a white foil onto the Winter & Company material. One of our favourite photographers, Josh Jordan, self-published with Ex Why Zed just in the nick of time before he started a new life in beautiful New Zealand. Here we have his Coastline book. Each book is shrink wrapped to ensure they arrive in pristine condition. In Coastline, he left a love letter to the epic beaches, rolling landscapes and iconic amusement parks of the Kent coastline. Aiming for a more prestigious and high-end publication this time, Josh chose a hardback landscape format at a bespoke size of 252 by 297, so A4 width, and slightly higher on the height. The 128 pages form an impressive and weighty finished piece. Again, we find a well-curated set of photography with a really nice flow and given plenty of room to breathe on each of the double-page spreads. The book accompanied a photography exhibition in Kent in 2021, and the handful of copies that were left over were all snapped up in super quick time. The 128 inside pages are printed onto 170 gloss, so they're nice and shiny, make the images bright, colourful and jumping off the page. Just sneaking in before the end of 2021 was Fever Dream by Renee Cornu from her studio in Durango, Colorado. Yes, printed in Colchester and almost seamlessly delivered across the Atlantic by FedEx. An impressive 304 by 304mm size wows the reader and gives the arms a good workout. The soft imagery on the cover opens to reveal artistic and aspirational photography throughout the 104 inside pages. 200 GSM uncoated is used to create a heavyweight premium feel. We worked really hard with Renee over email to ensure that the book had the highest possible production values and lived up to expectations. We sent over printed proofs for her to check in the States, make any changes and sign off before we went ahead with the final print. We're extremely proud that we give this level of customer service at XYZ, and we feel this really separates us from the kind of click and print online services where you upload your artwork into a void and then just keep your fingers crossed that what turns up is what you were expecting. Fever Dream is another successful Kickstarter project that XYZ's been able to bring to fruition. Renee approached us for quotes and for information before she launched the project on there, so she had everything to hand and it was fully backed before the job went to print. The book retails at $50 each on Kickstarter, which is a price point that you can definitely expect from an art book as substantial and well put together as this one. Photographer and designer John Stone had a dream to turn his 10 years of music photography into a printed piece. So we were super chuffed to print this formidable coffee table book to celebrate his work. John chose the highest production values and finishes to ensure it did maximum justice to his photography and ambition. This is one of those projects that we really started XYZ to produce. Let's take a closer look. Here we have the mightily impressive archive feed, individually shrink wrapped to protect each book in transit and to ensure they all arrive in pristine condition. We crack open the wrap and on the cover we find white foiling on Wibbling Buckram Black from Winter & Company. Simply put, if you're looking for a luxury aesthetic for the cover of your book, brochure or catalogue, then you can stop looking because this is the solution. The contrast in shades ensure the content in white jumps off the page, causing maximum impact. The inside pages are glued with strong PUR glue to make them resilient and very readable. Adding the title down the spine ensures it's easy to spot on the bookshelf. In the 256 inside pages, we find a visual overload on every double page spread. The end papers are big winners, featuring a collage of John's Access All Areas passes. We spoke at length about the possibilities for materials and sizing. John wasn't sure to begin with, so we helped talk him through the process and show him all the options that were available. The brief was a large square photo book with a linen cover. These type of projects do take time to fine-tune, materialise and agree on. The premium 170 GSM silk leaves are substantial and befitting of such a book. Equally at home photographing bands backstage, close-up of merch or amidst packed stadiums, John's work jumps off the enormous spreads. The finished size of the book is 294 by 294 millimetres, making a massive 588 millimetre wide spread. Here we move on to our favourite selection of zines which we printed in 2021, starting with Standard Deviation, another first issue and zine brought to life at XYZ. Standard Deviation is an independent art magazine from Lumpen Projects for experimental comics and contemporary drawing. As we flick through this one, there's a little bit of everything. Each page keeps the reader's attention. There's illustrations, artwork, there's written words too. It brings together artists that experiment predominantly with the medium of drawing, and it's a neat, perfect bound book with 128 inside pages. We're always a little bit of a sucker for ones printed onto gloss as well. I know they get slated on our website, but this one's got a 300 gram gloss cover with matte lamination on the outside. So the inside front cover's gloss and the outer is matte. And the inside pages are onto 130 gloss. Next up, we've got this cracking little zine for CRI Juvenile. This is to celebrate their album release and forms part of a limited edition box set that was sent out. You can see on the back cover here, we've actually die cut in a slit for the CD to be dropped into. The entire set was put together at Ex Why Zed, so we printed the book and then they supplied in pre-printed tattoos, which the recipient can rub off on their body, I guess. Go for your forehead, do your forehead. We collated the books, the tattoos and the CD all together in a lovingly packaged orange bubble envelope. These were then sent to the band's management company and dispatched to their fans and recipients around the world. We're always keen to see full-page typography like this. Just be careful with that spine gutter through the middle that you don't lose part of the letters. Congratulations on Hearing Aid magazine reaching issue 20. And this is their best layout, design and editorial content to date. It's a good read of music and pop culture curated from the St Andrews University radio station. Issue 20 they're up to now, and like we say, this is our favourite. A new student becomes editor for each issue, and Patrick Denvere took control this time, opting for a 240 by 170mm zine, 4-page cover on 300g uncoated, matte lamination to the outside to protect the ink from cracking, and the 76 inside pages are filled with cracking content and are onto 170 uncoated. 170 GSM uncoated inside pages feel noticeably thicker than 115 GSM, which is our standard. 170 definitely feels more substantial. The fire issue of Cunning Folk drops with its effortlessly cool design, ethereal images and mythological aura. It's a really, really tactile, good to hold zine, this one. Unique content, very, very readable, and already has a cult following, even though we're only on issue 3. Litho printed because of the lengthy print run. The front cover's on 350g uncoated and the inside's 120 uncoated. It was a very tactile publication. It's good to touch, good to hold and flick through. Matte lamination on the outer cover to prevent the ink cracking, and the inside pages, because they're uncoated and litho printed, the ink just soaks in a little bit more, which gives it a nice quality. It's slightly more subdued. The front cover has a lot of bounce. The illustrations and the images all the way through this one are perfect, and it's a really great example of editorial design and zine production values. Quick size comparison here between the standard deviation A5 and Cunning Folk. Congratulations to the guys at So Young Zine, who have now reached issue 35. Been printed at XYZ ever since the first inaugural issue. And here we've got a copy of issue 30 from earlier in 2021. The guys have now moved to a 245 by 172mm size, which is a really good size and cost effective for the sheets that we can get through our litho press. This particular issue has got 56 pages in total, and the front covers are 200g uncoated. It doesn't have lamination on there, which just means it's slightly more rugged feel, might be prone to scuffing. Because it's on 200g, the cover's very readable. You can open it up with ease. It's not a rigid card. The inside 52 pages are 120 uncoated, so again, it's easy to flick through. This is something you can read on the way into work on the bus or on the tube. It's staple bound or wire stitched, if you'd like a little bit of print jargon, and that's the method of printing pages and then folding them in half and stapling them twice on the spine. Again, that tips its head towards old school zines that you might have made on your photocopier or in the library and then folded and bound by hand. Have you ever loved a pop star or a movie or a TV show which took over your life? Well, introducing Looking for Bruce by Holly Cassio, which is a love affair and story of trying to meet Bruce Springsteen. A superbly quirky zine packed with awesome illustrations that can't help bring a smile to the reader's face. It's all laid out in a storyboard fashion with a photo here of Holly when she finally achieved her mission. If you'd like to create something similar to celebrate your love of Jennifer Aniston, motorway cafes or wild otters, then the print spec is A5 4-page cover onto 300 gram uncoated, matte lamination and 68 inside pages on 100 gram uncoated. Issue 2 of the thought-provoking Ablezine explores the theme of environment through the lens of disability and the perspectives of the wider disabled community. The printed version offers a choice of 5 covers brought to you by a range of talented creatives. Each zine is packed with over 180 pages of content, images and interviews with amazing individuals living across disability spectrums. Uniquely positioned in the zine space, Able seeks to increase representation for disabled and chronically ill creatives, young people and communities both online and in real life. Superbly designed with high-end editorial, their aim has always been to tackle ableism and discrimination through vivid, informative content and provide opportunities for those who have previously been stigmatised or unwelcome in creative and cultural spaces. The editorial also discusses the Black Lives Matter campaign in this issue. The team behind Ablezine have always aimed to create a high-end fashion-style publication in a sector that previously didn't have one. Big winner on Ablezine is the choice of 5 front covers. You can choose which one you like, and the inside pages are all the same for the whole print run. We're simply massive fans of this super cool range of creative booklets by Zoe Welsh. This one is called Haiku. Hi who? Hi Haiku. Hi you too. They're full of icons, patterns and cool graphics. Such an uplifting combination of fun pattern design, outdoor photography and typography in Zoe's 2 mini booklets and zines here. Hi Haiku is A6 and The Life of a Triangle is A5. That one's onto silk, so the pages are slightly brighter. Hi Haiku's onto uncoated for a slightly rougher feel. They're both self-cover notebooks, so they're nice and neat when they're bound with 2 staples on the spine. Both these little booklets and Zoe's other 2 projects, including a retro chatterbox, were printed by Ex Why Zed in Colchester in the UK and shipped to Quebec in Canada in record time. In recent years, we have seen a trend for degree show catalogues to move towards the hardback variety and take on a more prestigious appearance. Visitors to your show would definitely value and cherish the book more if it was hardback. Here we have Our People, which is a celebration of the RADA BA acting course and the students that were graduating from 2018 to 2021's intake. As we open up the front cover, we're instantly wowed by the typographic end papers. We worked extremely hard with Andy McCready before the job went ahead, including printing a one-off copy first so he could see exactly how the book was going to look and then make the necessary changes before we went ahead with the final print run. You can see each of the actors has a prominent photo of themselves on the left-hand side and their memories and synopsis and contact details on the right. The publication does a great job of documenting what it was like to be an acting student at RADA during the pandemic when they were all not allowed on site or to interact with each other on stage in a time-honoured fashion. It's 210 by 210 with 66 inside pages on 170 silk. Big winner of this book is the awesome typographic end papers, but also the hugely inspiring stories from each of the students. Boom, there it is, the cover of the RCA MA animation catalogue from 2021, styled exquisitely on the old BBC test card. Yep, anyone under 30, you can Google that. The never-ending challenge of how to design and lay out a book containing the work of 50 students has been attempted and won here by the RCA team, although the book itself is A6. To counteract the A6 size, they've used oversized type, which looks superb, bold, large name at the top, followed by an overview of their work underneath. A really fun addition is the page numbers in the bottom left-hand corner, which form a flicker book style animation when the reader flicks through. Each student is given the right-hand page for an example of their work and the left-hand side for their intro. The publication is perfect bound with 94 inside pages, the cover onto 250 GSM silk, gloss lamination, and the text onto 115 uncoated. This is an engaging, polished degree show catalogue and a great example of what can be achieved. The Drawing Postal project was initiated in response to the restrictions of England's third national lockdown in 2021, which kiboshed many a degree show last year. The cover is deceptive and actually appears to have more texture than it really does. All students, and indeed the staff, from BA Drawing, FAD Drawing and Conceptual Practice, MA Drawing and MA Printmaking, were invited to participate in this book. Everyone was sent an A4 sheet of cartridge paper and a stamped addressed envelope, which was scanned in and ultimately became the front cover and the back cover of the catalogue. This isn't a degree show catalogue in the traditional sense, but gives an insight into the thought processes and ideas this talented group succumbed to when their studies could not carry on in the usual classroom environment. Polvo Press can take the credit for designing and laying out this publication. Using the same treatment for each student makes the designer's job eminently easier, so this is definitely something to consider for your publication this year. Do the layout and grid for one page initially, nail your master, then roll it out for the rest of the catalogue. It's good practice to get into and hugely time-saving. The students at UAL and Camberwell in London are always in the upper echelons of the talent when we come to print degree show catalogues, and this publication is no different. The Lucky Leaf Handbook is simply one of the best books we've ever read. Superbly written, we finished it from cover to cover in one go. It is the story of a fun outdoor game invented by the author, where the aim of a lucky leaf is to catch leaves that fall from trees before they hit the ground. The book is 125 by 99 millimeters, so quite a small book with 184 inside pages onto the thin 80 gram uncoated. We printed 1,200 copies with 184 inside pages printed onto thin 80 GSM uncoated. It's a cracking little book, an awesome read, very, very witty, and you can get completely lost in the fun and mysterious world of Lucky Leaf. Drawing on 2020 by Tim King is the best book you'll read all year, hands down. Tim takes you on an illustrated journey through 2020 using his inimitable and hugely engaging style of drawing. Each day spawned a new image as the year meandered from an optimistic start of a new decade into an apocalyptic behemoth that nobody could have ever imagined. The book is available in both hardback and softback, each with their own unique charm. And for all you print spotters, the spec is 210 by 210 with 388 inside pages onto 140 GSM Addiction uncoated, which is 100% recycled. We hope Tim continues his daily drawings throughout the next year. You really could take hours and hours, if not days and days, reading this book. Each page is enticing and visually captivating and brings back loads and loads of memories about what you were doing on that particular day or what the current news story was. Tim has a brilliant knack of capturing overheard conversations on trains and buses and tubes as well, which create some awesome drawings. The most impressive thing about this book is the sheer size and scale of it. We applaud Tim for the incredible talent and dedication that he's shown to illustrate every single day of the year, despite being in the middle of a global pandemic. Lilette's Kitchen is a really professional looking hardback cookery book. We can see straight away when we open the front cover that it's got bright yellow end papers which really capture the reader's attention from the offset. Lilette imparts her iconic and pretty legendary recipes throughout every page. High impact imagery and easy to read typography ensure that the recipient will be able to make all of the recipes. High production values again. We've got section sewn inside pages with a silver head and tail band. This is something you can add to a hardback book. It's an off-kilter size of 240 by 170, which is a neat size that fits perfectly on a printed sheet and falls between A5 and A4. Another self-published book is Matt Robinson's A Series of Objects and Projects, which is a compendium of his work from the last few years. We particularly like the industrial style typography on the front cover and throughout the inside pages. It prints a tint of grey on 300 gram uncoated, which makes the front cover just slightly different from the inside pages. You can see the front cover here on the left is a grey tint and the inside pages are bright white 115 GSM uncoated. We've got 44 inside pages, which gives us a 3 or 4 mil spine, and it's perfect bound as well to form a very professional looking book. Matt's great photography of his own personal work, punctuated by the industrial typeface, which does fit the subject matter, works really well, and we're a big fan of this book. Next up, we have the How to Show Your Work, which is the latest title in the hugely popular and massively informative series of books by the Creative Hub in London. Using crisp design, engrossing infographics, and easy to understand guides, they talk artists and creatives through the process of getting their work out there. With a growing community of 50,000 commercial and fine artists, they are in a unique position to share real-world experiences. These really are a must-have book if you're looking to do self-promotion and push your brand online or in real life. Do check out How to Sell Your Art Online, which is the great forerunner to this book. We like the superb typography, geometric shapes to capture the reader's eye, and shaded backgrounds to differentiate those particular pages from the main bulk, which have white backgrounds. Part of the Creative Hub is the print space, and they are the place to go for giclée prints, canvases, and the highest possible quality large format photography reproductions. We're always happy to recommend people to them, and in turn, super proud to print their long run editions of these impressive books. Big winner of this book, the superb styling and the graphic design. The Seize the Day journals are available in 4 striking colourways: terracotta, silver grey, plum and black, all from the Winter & Company Wibbling range. Complementing each other superbly, they work as a set of 4 or an individual purchase. The inside pages have plenty of prompts and sections for you to fill in and are interspersed with inspirational statements from prominent figures. Sealing each journal is a printed belly band which neatly tucks into the front and back cover. The inside pages are section sewn with a ribbon marker included to make them ultra robust and handy to use every single day. The highest production values were chosen by the guys at Better Day Studio, and the end result is an impressive and very desirable finished publication. The product logo is gold foiled on the front and debosses slightly into the textured wibbling for a very classy finish. You're going to love picking up this journal and jotting down your thoughts every day. And finally, we have this range of A5 notebooks from Anne Davidson Studio, each printed on to FSC certified papers. We've got this awesome repeating geometric pattern on the front cover and subtle but classy typography along the leading edge. When you open up the book, the pattern wraps around onto the back cover too. They are 100 pages, so that's 50 leaves for your reader and end user to fill with their thoughts, imagination and insights. At XYZ, we always try and say yes to everything. So if you're undecided about which one of your illustrations or favourite patterns you'd like on the front cover of your notebook range, why not print 2, 4 or even 8 different cover options? Keep the inside pages the same. They can be either blank, lined or graph paper, and then split the larger print run between different cover designs. So for example, 200 copies, you could have 4 versions, 50 copies of each. So that was our guide to some of our favourite projects from the last 12 months in 2021. We hope that was inspiring. If you have a print project coming up, then get in touch on hello@xyz.co.uk. Give us a call on 01206 76647, and we look forward to helping you transform your ideas into print.